When I tell you that everything was on the line during the 2025 Eastern Conference Semifinals, I mean everything was on the line. The Celtics had already done it. After years of coming up short, they captured the championship in 2024. The perfect roster, the perfect season. But was the price too high?
Ends tonight here. It's over. Time to say it again, Boston. Anything's possible. Banner number 18 has been secured. The Celtics are NBA champions.
And then there was the New York Knicks. 25 years without reaching the conference finals. A franchise desperate to prove they belong. This wasn't just another playoff series for them. This was their chance to announce their arrival. And I'm telling you, everything was at stake during this series, and it was either going to make you or break you. If you're into these NBA stories that change the course of history, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. The Celtics weren't just good entering these playoffs, they were historically dominant. Their net rating of plus 11.7 was the third best in NBA history. Think about that. Third best ever. How did it get here? It started with the Jays, Tatum and Brown, two wings who grew up from promising rookies into all-NBA talents. But what made this team special? It was the pieces around them.
Tatum again weaving his way to the basket.
Oh my goodness!
Smart play to Jaylen Brown with thunder on Mo Bamba.
In 2022, they added Derek White from San Antonio. Hindsight is 2020, and people forget this, but remember when people questioned the trade? Well, Derek White turned into a defensive menace who could also shoot the air out the ball. Then came the blockbusters, trading Marcus Smart, the heart and soul of the team, to acquire Kristaps Porzingis. And when Dame forced his way out of Portland till Milwaukee, the Celtics swooped in and grabbed Drew Holiday. What was the result of that? A juggernaut, a 64-win season, a championship, and a team that entered these playoffs as overwhelming favorites to repeat. But there was a problem cooking up beneath the surface. Peep this. All this talent came at a cost. Literally. The Celtics payroll has skyrocketed to $227 million, more than $100 million above the salary cap. With luxury tax penalties, they were looking at a $500 million bill. Even for a champion, that's unsustainable. This wasn't just about winning another title. It was about justifying the most expensive roster in NBA history.
9 assists in the first half. Tatum sidestep three-pointer. It's good! Jason Tatum from downtown again!
While the Celtics were building a champion, the Knicks were constructing something different, an identity. After decades of dysfunction, and I mean decades, New York finally found its direction under Leon Rose and Tom Thibodeau. They drafted smartly. They signed Jalen Brunson, a guy who wasn't even an all-star when they got him, but turned him into a perfect fit for the bright lights of Madison Square Garden. Then came the finishing touches, trading for OG in December, adding Josh Hart, acquiring Mikal Bridges at the deadline. None were traditional superstars, but together they formed something special. A team built on toughness, defense, and resilience. You know what analytics don't measure? Heart. And in New York, it matters.
3.5 to play in regulation with the Knicks by 3 after trailing by 20.
And he can also draw a foul.
That's a three. Got another one. He is a machine.
The Celtics were heavy favorites entering the series. They had won the championship pedigree. They had the star power. They had the experience, but the Knicks? They had something you can't measure. Again, it's heart. Game 1 set the tone. Boston built a 20-point lead and had a 98.2% chance of winning. Game over, you'd assume. Nah. The Knicks stormed back, forced overtime, and stole the win. The former champs, the fans, they were all stunned. Game 2. Same story. Another massive Celtics lead. Another epic collapse. Boston scored just 6 points in the final 8 minutes. The Knicks headed home with a shocking 2-0 lead. The Celtics showed their champion DNA in Game 3. Dominating from start to finish. But just when it seemed like momentum was shifting, disaster struck in Game 4. With Boston up 14, Jason Tatum went down with a non-contact injury. The diagnosis? A ruptured Achilles. Just like that. The future of the franchise changed in an instant. Even without their superstar, the Celtics fought back in Game 5. Derek White and Luke Cornett stepped up huge to force a Game 6. Maybe, just maybe, they could pull off the impossible. But MSG had other plans. Game 6 wasn't just a game. It was an execution. The Knicks defense suffocated Boston, holding them to just 37 points in the first half. By halftime, they led by 27. When Mitchell Robinson ripped the ball straight out of Jaylen Brown's hands in the third quarter, it wasn't just a steal, it was a statement. The Knicks weren't just winning, they were taking Boston's soul. The lead skyrocketed to 41 points, the largest of the season. When Jaylen Brown fouled out in the third quarter, Knicks fans serenaded him with the song, Hit the Road Jack. The final. Knicks 119, Celtics 81. The most lopsided playoff loss in recent Celtics history. As the final buzzer sounded, MSG erupted. Fans poured into the streets, they climbed light poles, danced on top of taxi stands. Even good old Timothy was hanging out the car windows celebrating. New York was alive again. The series that began with Boston as heavy favorites ended with their championship reigns in ruins. The Celtics went from having a 98.2% chance of winning Game 1 to having a 1.3% chance of coming back 3-1, down without their best player. The defending champions were dethroned, and the Knicks were headed into the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 25 years. But for Boston, this wasn't just a series loss. It was potentially the end of an era. Jason Tatum's Achilles injury is expected to keep him out for 8 to 9 months, according to his dad. He might miss most of, or all of the 2025 to 2026 season. And even if he returns, there's no guarantee he'll be the same player. Just ask Kobe Bryant or Kevin Durant how difficult that recovery is. The financial reality is even more daunting. The Celtics are staring at a $500 million bill for a team that might not even make the playoffs next year. Nah, I'm playing. The East is pretty trash. But the second apron penalties will severely restrict their ability to improve the roster. No aggregating salaries and trades. No taxpayer mid-level exception. Nothing. Difficult decisions are coming. Kristaps Porzingis, who struggled with mysterious health issues throughout the playoffs. So bad that Coach Mazzulla said he couldn't even breathe during Game 5. Might be traded. Jrue Holiday, despite his championship pedigree, could be moved to save cost. Even role players like Sam Hauser might be casualties of a financial crunch. The Celtics built the perfect team for one moment in time. They got their championship, but the cost may have been their future. As Jaylen Brown put it after the elimination, losing to the Knicks feels like death, but I was always taught that there's life after death. For the Celtics, what that new life looks like remained to be seen. The 2025 Eastern Conference Semifinals didn't just end a championship reign, it potentially ended a championship era before it truly began. For the Knicks, it was the beginning of something special, a date with the Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals and a chance to continue their magical run. For the Celtics, it might have been the end. That's the cruel reality of the NBA. Windows open and closed in an instant. One series, one injury, one financial decision can change everything. The Celtics were champions. Now they're just another cautionary tale of how quickly it can all fall apart. The moment you're on top of the world, the next, you're watching your championship dreams die on Madison Square Garden's floor. That's the NBA for you, where legends are made and empires crumble in a blink of an eye. If you'd enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button and subscribe for more NBA stories that change the course of history. In the comments below, let me know your predictions for the rest of the playoffs, or just let me know what you want me to cover next. I appreciate y'all for listening. Peace.